What is the projection for this game?
I have the Kansas City Chiefs, 29, Ravens 24. A really big factor for me in this one, Chris Jones. Interior pressure is going to be a big deal. And last week we saw Chris Jones just lay down the hammer. He had an Aaron Donald-like game in terms of how many disruptions he has. In fact, I do like a really long model, like 10 seasons worth. And in a single game, the only guy who, from the interior position, from the pass rusher position, has more disruptions than last game, Chris Jones, Aaron Donald.
Wow.
That was a huge deal.
10 seasons.
10.
I want to get down with her in the lab.
Fletcher
The
Cox
projection
is
she
third on that
runs
one.
still marvels me. I got the Chiefs as well. I just think Mahomes is going to kind of pick the defense apart. This guy is the real deal, like I talked about earlier. Defenses have had a chance to kind of scout him and think of ways to attack him. They still can't figure it out. I'm going Chiefs. Greg,
I think it'll be Chiefs in a close one, so we're all in agreement. But I think the Ravens will keep it tight because both these teams give up big plays on defense, the Ravens and the Chiefs. So I think they're just going to go up and down the field all day.
I've got Rams 27, Browns 24. So I think that 3 is right about correct.
Yeah.
But I do think that the way that it happens here is through Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley is the answer to this problem in terms of keep Myles Garrett away from Jared Goff. You know how you do that? Just run right at him.
Yeah, keep Myles Garrett away from
Keep
everybody.
Myles Garrett
All right,
away from
this
everybody.
is going to hurt me. This is one of the few games
What's up with the Browns fans
I'm sorry,
lately?
what?
where
Come
I'm
on.
picking
I'm
against
sorry,
the
what?
I made all my Browns picks in preseason. Okay, so this is one of the games where I thought it would be tough with it for them. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going with the Rams in this one, in a close one. Greg, just go.
Tell me though, like it feels
Twitter.com.
like you spent the whole offseason, Browns fans and you going wild, getting excited, and I feel like after 2 weeks now, everyone's already afraid of jumping ship. Don't be scared.
A loss doesn't scare us. Spotty play doesn't scare us, all right? We knew we weren't going to go 16-0. The Rams are tough. They have Aaron Donald. We have offensive line issues. I'm going to pick the Rams in this one.
What should scare you is I think the
Go
coaching
Browns.
matchup.
You gotta go Browns.
No, I'm going Rams. In a game where I don't think both teams are playing at their best, like which coach do you think is gonna figure out a way to win at the end? Is it Freddie Kitchens and Todd Monken, the two offensive guys who seem to be maybe not on the same page, or is it Sean McVay? This is a sign of a veteran team that's figuring out ways to win even when they're not at their best.
All right, well,
I just can't believe you did it.
I'm tempted to change my pick since everybody went Rams. But, okay, the 49ers are favored by 7 in this one. Cynthia, what is your projection?
Okay, so I have 49ers on top, 26-20. So not quite 7. 6.
I like that. I actually have the 49ers as well. I think the Steelers' offense is going to have a lot of trouble finding their rhythm. I have someone on the set who I think is going to disagree with me. Greg, what do you got?
Are we buying into the 49ers hype a little too quickly? I have the Steelers winning on the road. When they traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick this week, and they traded a first-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick, not only does that fix a hole in the secondary, which they needed to, showed a lot of faith in their coach, Mike Tomlin, in their defense, in this organization, that they believe they can compete this year because they don't want that pick to be a top 5 pick. I think it starts this week.
So you think Minkah stops? See, because my biggest concern with the Steelers is their defense and their fact that they've been giving up just a ton of big plays. So rushes of 10 plus, passes of 20 plus. They kind of like, they look like this. Right? They're like, it's just going over their head, and you don't know, and they're all looking around like, hey, you think Minkah Fitzpatrick just solves that in 1 week?
No, but we've seen that over the Mike Tomlin era sometimes, but we've also seen them rally and be at their best when you count them out, and I just feel like this is a circle the wagons type moment. I'm trusting in the organization. The 49ers have been losing a long time. Steelers have been winning a long time. It just feels like a market correction.
But what about like rushing? Because that's what Kyle Shanahan has been able to do effectively.
I mean, running the football.
Exactly, running the football.
It's
so
gotta be tough.
That's my
Stephon Tuitt, Cameron Hayward. They're playing pretty well up front. I don't think that's their problem. It's just I guess I just don't quite buy this 49ers love.
And I get that, but where are the points coming from? Mason Rudolph is making his first career start. So what do you think it happened?
I do think that they're going to score some points. I just don't know. I'm a little confused how they're going to stop the. I don't know. I'm with you though. I like Mason Rudolph maybe more than other people do though. Like I went back.
He's aggressive.
And
I don't think he's going to go in there and be afraid. If you've watched him in the preseason, I know it was a preseason, but even last week he had them moving better than Ben Roethlisberger did. I think he's going to be throwing down the field. We haven't seen that 49ers secondary really be exposed, but I think they can.
You know what we have seen? That 49ers, the front. Hi, Nick Bosa. Welcome Mason Rudolph.
All right, let's get to some picks here. Cynthia, you're first. What do you got for us?
I mean, I have the Bucs winning 27-21.
Yeah.
It's the Giants defense that I'm very concerned about. And I think Jameis Winston, for fantasy purposes, is a total play this weekend, which is weird because you're not necessarily always recommending Jameis Winston with all the turnovers, but against the Giants, it's a yes for me.
I'm going Bucs as well. I'm not sure which Jameis we're going to get, whether the Jameis who makes a bunch of bad decisions or the Jameis who plays lights out. But still, I don't think the Giants have enough firepower to win the game. I'm going with the Bucs. Greg, who do you got?
I think the Bucs eke out a win. I'm surprised, they're such heavy favorites, but the Todd Bowles helped contribute to the Jets falling apart last year. He's going to contribute to the Giants falling apart on Sunday. Just taking out the New York teams. Todd Bowles.
Well, I mean, when you talk about the Saints, you obviously need to talk about their red zone defense. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
no, but
you do.
I really do like their red zone defense. It was kind of a sneaky good aspect of the game against the Rams prior to us learning that we're not getting Drew Brees back, which kind of took over the media headlines. So that is one aspect of the game that I think we should be talking about because we've seen Russell Wilson. They struggled in that first game against Cincinnati.
Yeah. What do you got from
They're not going to score as much, so they need Cameron Jordan and David Onyemata and Marcus
You just like saying that,
I do,
Onyemata.
but they got after the Rams last
No,
week.
he did.
And the Seahawks offensive line, they struggled so much early in that game, really the first 2 weeks, that they had to resort to a lot of quick throws, not a lot of deep passes from Russell Wilson. So if the Saints are going to win, I think that's the route, is getting after Russell Wilson.
I want to see how Michael Thomas does without Drew Brees. Now, Michael Thomas is one of the best receivers in the NFL. Everyone knows that. But he is not the best at separating, at least not as good as some of the other top-tier receivers.
He was no hawk.
With Drew Brees being the most accurate quarterback we may have ever seen in the league, I want to see how he does with Teddy Bridgewater there because some of the balls aren't going to be hitting him right in his chest.
The good news for him is that the secondary is kind of the area to target. We've seen slot receivers, especially Michael Thomas in the slot, is a great mismatch in favor of the Saints. So I like the mismatch that they're going to be able to create with some of the secondary players for the Seahawks because we've seen them be suspect.
Right.
The elephant in the room, though, is Teddy. I mean, he wasn't that accurate last week. He wasn't making those quick decisions, and it's been a long journey for us in Teddy Nation. I've been rooting for Teddy Bridgewater since he was with the Vikings. Thought he was such a fun player to watch. Kind of had a better version of Alex Smith type of upside, but it's been a long couple years since he had a start with other starters that he's preparing, and he hasn't looked great in his brief time with the Saints, whether it's the preseason or last year in Week 17. So this is his moment. This is a game that can help change the rest of his career.
The only good news here is that they knew Drew Brees was going to not be playing really early, so they've had the entire week, and they actually went to Seattle. They didn't go back to New Orleans, so they had the entire week to kind of create a game plan specifically for this and be in a focused area in a hotel together. So those are, I mean, you can tell us from a player's point of view. So like in a bad situation, at least they had this kind of time to be able to scheme.
Control some of the other variables. Greg, I feel like you're in every quarterback's fan club. Every time we talk about one,
why not?
What about Taysom Hill then?
All right,
I'm Team
devastating
Taysom.
Injury.
I'm Team Taysom.
All right, let's get to some picks. Cynthia, what does your projection look like for this game?
Like, I still think the Seahawks win, especially because they're playing at home and they have kind of all of their pieces in place, but not huge. I have 24-20 in favor of the home team.
Okay, I'm going Seahawks too. 12th man is going to be all in Teddy Bridgewater's ear, and I like the Seahawks scrappy play. I'm going with them with the W. Greg?
I went with my head, and that was the Seahawks too. Now that we're doing the show, I wish I went with my heart because I feel like Teddy.
Do it.
I feel like Teddy Nation fans.
You can change it.
We shouldn't give up.
Somebody change the graphic.
We shouldn't give up. Let's have faith in our guy.
All right, Teddy Nation president.
I think it's a Taysom Hill touchdown.
Spoken. All right, let's get to some picks.
Let's do
Cynthia, your projection for this game.
Colts 24, Falcons 21.
Okay, I like it. I'm also going with the Colts myself. Like I said, offensive line for the Colts is spectacular.
You love O-line.
I do love O-line. I think it's a Joe Thomas in me. Greg, who do you get?
Yeah, I kind of made it obvious. I'm in the tank for this Colts team. I think they end up being the tougher team and they run through the Falcons.
Do you think Jalen Ramsey goes there? Just kidding.
Ooh.
That would make him.
It won't happen. It's in division though. I don't think it goes, but it'd be fun.
All right, Green Bay favored by 7.5 at home on this one. Cynthia, what is your projection?
I have Packers 26, Broncos 19.
Okay.
So about 7.
Just under that.
Yeah.
Just under that.
You could see that because it could be a slow-paced game. Yeah, between two teams that have been running the ball a lot and not really playing very fast.
I'm going with the Packers myself. Vikings, and we talked about it earlier, I don't know what I expect out of Kirk Cousins, and anytime you have someone at the quarterback that you're unsure of, you go with the stable. And I think Mike Pettine's going to have that defense ready and smother the Vikings offense. Greg, who do you got?
Yeah, I think you have to go with the Packers right now. The way the Broncos are moving the ball, they're working really hard to get their points. You know, they have to get 6, 7 first downs to get it, and that's just a tough way to play, especially against a ball hawking secondary.
Look, we've seen something kind of interesting with the Packers. They start off really strong, and they just kind of like hang on to it, right? We haven't seen the in-game adjustments. And Vic Fangio on the other side is very familiar with Aaron Rodgers, right? Coming from Chicago, he has that kind of defense. So for me, it slows everything down in favor of the Packers, which the pace is really reflected in 26-19. So a quick start and then like control for the rest of the game.
Matt LaFleur was that slow pace, life in Tennessee too. He likes to wait to the end of the play clock. He likes to run the ball on 2nd and 10. Let Aaron Rodgers be Aaron Rodgers. And on the other side, I'm just shocked Von Miller and Bradley Chubb have 2 quarterback hits combined on the year. No sacks. Like, you would not have thought that.
Yeah, that's actually the one part that's really interesting is low-key good aspect of the Packers offense is their O-line. Bakhtiari, they have some really great, we don't really talk about them as often amongst the best O-lines in the, in the league, and they really are. So I don't know if we see a sack from them again this week.
Let's do it.
What is your score and your projection for this?
I have the upset here. I have Texans 24, Chargers only 23.
I like that. I also think the Chargers have been a little inconsistent this year, but I'm picking the Texans.
They didn't lose last week. They just didn't win.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Very true. I'm going with the Texans myself. Greg, who do you got?
I don't feel great about it because I'm on an island. I'm going Chargers at home. These are 2 teams I don't feel like I have any feel for after 2 weeks. They're going to be so different in November and December. So many injuries for the Chargers, but I think they find a way to win.
What do you think gives them the advantage? Like, what got you over the hump here?
Phillip Rivers, and then what you said with Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, who have been a little quiet. I almost feel like they're due, and Phillip Rivers is definitely due to kind of make up for what he did a week ago. Have a good day.
I actually have like a good Austin Eckler projection. I have a good Phillip Rivers projection. But ultimately what happens is that magic and that boomer bust that you talk about with Deshaun Watson. And you really have this opportunity to, those deep gashes. You can only have Casey Hayward on DeAndre Hopkins and then the other guys, like you talk about, being open so many times before something just bend, don't break what's breaking, right? No Adrian Phillips, no Derwin James. You just have too many safeties missing. You can't ask Casey Hayward and Desmond King to do everything. You have to get a little help. Secondary.
That's a matchup I want to see, Hopkins and Hayward. All right, let's take a look at some of the games we didn't get to here. Whew.
Okay, so one I need to alert you for, and the reason you need to tune back in on Sunday morning to make sure that you have all of the most up-to-date stuff. Panthers, Cardinals. Right now, that score does not reflect Cam Newton play. That is a non-Cam Newton.
Non-Cam Newton.
If
even
he
then
does, I think it's you can't look. Luke Kuechly, that's a really good. There are some parts to that defense that are low-key better than you think. And again, I think they know more than they're telling us. I think they have a plan for this. It's the Cardinals' defense that's my problem, not the Cardinals' offense.
Panthers' defense hasn't really shown up there. I'm just amazed. Hawk taking the Bengals at Buffalo, ending the 2-0 start.
I think they break the cycle
finally,
this
thank
week.
God he's still a homer somewhere.